What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the All Things Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Vic Lopez, as always, and it's been some time. It's been a couple of weeks since the last video, and it's slowed down as expected. Obviously, it's the NBA offseason, so I've been taking time away from the YouTube stuff and honestly applying my time to the EuroBasket. That's pretty much what I've been doing, and also helping a high school that I'm involved with at the moment that I'm stuck with for the season. I'm going to basically be helping them out all year long. So I'm going to be juggling the YouTube and the high school stuff at the same time. We'll see how that goes. I'm excited about that, but just been enjoying like the off season watching EuroBasket, and I got the pass, which it's basically for the year. I'm probably going to forget about the pass after EuroBasket's over, but it's been awesome watching these games, you know, watching Jokic, watching Kristaps with Latvia and Jonas Valanciunas with Lithuania, and I'm watching Denny Avdia win games with Israel, and I'm watching France with Alex Sarr. And look, man, Alex Sarr is a guy that I was particularly interested in because he's not exactly someone that I watched often due to the fact that he plays for the Wizards, who are just horrific. Okay, but this season I'll actually be tuning into a lot more Wizards games, and a lot of that is because I love the Trey Johnson pick, and he was awesome. Boy, was this dude fun to watch in Summer League. So, you know, just to get to the Alex Sarr thing, because I wanted to kind of watch him specifically and take some notes. So obviously I threw on some France games, and just for anyone wondering, this is not going to include the friendlies. This is just going to be the two group stage games that Alex Sarr played in, because he just missed that last game against Israel. I think he has like some calf soreness. That's what I was reading online. So look, I did a video on Alex Sarr before he was drafted, and as soon as I took my notes and like finished watching those couple of games he played, I left it thinking he definitely looks better already. So that's a good sign. But I did come out of this short experience of just 2 games, and I'm going to continue to watch him throughout. I did come out thinking, okay, well, there's nothing I already didn't know about him. So it's not something that concerns me, because he's literally 20 years old and he just finished his first year of NBA basketball. So it's not something that I'm worried about right now. And honestly, during the season, when you go back and look at some performances, this dude quietly had some pretty awesome games that obviously go under the radar because they won 18 games. Now, there was a monster game from him against the Denver Nuggets. Let me look at my notes here. March 15th, which I noted down. It was it was a monster game for Alex Sarr, man. The Nuggets were on the second night of a back-to-back, so there is that, right? They're also missing Aaron Gordon, who, by the way, would really help against Alex Sarr, a guy that, you know, does the things that Alex Sarr isn't yet comfortable with, which is like the physicality, right? A guy that's going to use muscle and be aggressive and just be super handsy with the guy he's guarding. And, you know, it was a good perfect storm for Alex Sarr, but nonetheless, I'm still going to give respect, because this was the line for Alex Sarr, man. 34 points. He was 12 for 28 from the field. He put up 28 shots in this game. He was 5 for 9 from 3, which, if you're an Alex Sarr fan, if you're a Wizards fan, and you're seeing the shot start to fall, that's going to open up the whole thing for Alex Sarr, because I'm going to show some things that we see in EuroBasket throughout these games that will complement that part of his game if he is knocking down those threes. He was 5 for 5 from the free throw line. He had a really nice block on Peyton Watson. The Nuggets were basically letting him shoot from outside, and Sarr's like, I'll gladly pull him, and I'm cashing in. And that's one thing that I like about Alex Sarr. It's definitely been consistent throughout the time that I've watched him, before the draft, after he was drafted. In EuroBasket, I see the same kind of things. Not a guy that's worried about shooting. If he's wide open from 3, he's going to take it, and he's going to take it with confidence, and he's not going to think twice. If he's open again, he's going to shoot it again. And I really like that about Alex Sarr, you know. But obviously, you know, that's half the battle, is having the confidence to take the shot. The other half is making the shot, right? And that's always going to be what matters the most at the end of the day. So I'm just going to jump in right away with the clips, and you guys can just follow along as you watch. I've really loved watching this guy's mobility. when he's guarding those pick and rolls, it's something that I was already aware of pre-draft. I mean, you see the quickness, the ground that this guy covers in seconds without giving away advantages before getting back to his own man. Like, you can see him just hedge, and then he gets right back right away. Sometimes there's like a passing window that may be available, but you could see the guy on the ball doesn't want to take that risk of throwing the pass because this guy just has insanely long arms, and he just moves so quickly that it's just such a risky pass to make, even when he's in help. And you kind of see that his man is available for a pass, but you could just see the hesitation, and that helps a lot, man. That helps get you a lot of stops on defense. Now, there are some concerns, and look, defensively speaking, he's not, and this is just him in general, he's not a strong guy right now, and it does look like he's built some muscle, so, you know, that looks good to me, but it's still like, you can just tell all the post battles that he's in, or whenever he's like setting screens and things like that, he's not the stronger guy in a lot of these little mini battles throughout these games. And it could be any position that's guarding him on a cross match. Like, if someone gets switched onto him and they're smaller than him, they're still kind of moving him out of the way. And when he's trying to screen, they don't really get blocked off by him, right? So then he's stuck having to like set some ghost screens to kind of try to take advantages with his mobility. And like Chet, he uses that length to alter the shot. So like, even when he's out of position, it does the job, right? And if you're not going to out-muscle a guy in the post and you do have that length, at that point, it's about timing and discipline. And honestly, Alex Sarr shows the timing and he shows the discipline. Like, there's times where he's in the post, he's guarding a guy right now in EuroBasket, and a guy's just pump fake, pump fake, pump fake, and Alex Sarr is not biting. Like, he may do like some like quick up and down kind of movements, but he is not jumping until that shot goes up. And he may not grab the rebound after like he contests the shot and they miss it, which is going to be part of his game that he needs to like really polish up. He's got to become a better rebounder, and he's shown moments where he can do it, but it's got to be consistent, especially if he's going to be the lone big man in an offense or a defense. If he's going to be playing the 5, you know, I'm sure there's ideas to like make him play the 4, put him next to a more traditional big, and he can kind of like try to space the floor if the shot's falling. Like, that's always going to be a thing that they're going to try with him. But yeah, I mean, it's something that he's definitely going to have. You know, he's going to have to be able to rebound. And look, talking about defense, like, you can see when he's in help and he shows up, right, for just extra support on drives, and there's nothing left for the offensive player to do but either pass it out or just make a U-turn and go back the other way, which that's never going to show up on a box score. But if you do watch Alex Sarr, if you do watch these rim protecting guys, like guys that just, they show up and defense does not want to take shots around them, that will never show up on a box score, but it's so impactful on the defensive end. You know, it just stops offense in their tracks, and it milks clock, and it really helps his team out. So that's really good stuff. And look, man, he shows the versatility, switches on to Luka at the 3-point line, and he knows Luka likes getting to that step back, and he's in position to kind of bait Luka into trying the step back, and that way he can just extend and contest. But Luka's just smart, right? He creates the windows left to right. He creates enough space to get by Alex Sarr, but even though he gets to the paint, Sarr is just like hovering around him because he stays along for the drive, and he blocks him. And it's just a stop, right? So like, even though you get by Alex Sarr, he's gonna stay in the play because he's just incredibly quick, right? He can move so fast, and he covers a lot of ground, like I mentioned earlier, and just with that wingspan and the athleticism, it's just, you know, he's very versatile, right? And that just helps a ton. Even if he gets caught out, like if he jumps on a pump fake and he has to like recover, right? Like, he can really do that at a high level. And that's just one of the early things that I remember about him before the draft. You know, there was a moment late in the clock where Luka waves off his teammate because he doesn't want his teammate to set the screen. It's like late clock, like the quarter's about to end. I don't remember the moment in the game, but he waves off his teammate because he doesn't want Alex Sarr to come over on the switch. And that says a lot about Alex Sarr's defensive ability, that Luka doesn't even want him at the 3-point line guarding him. So, you know, shout out to him for that. That was a nice little moment that I caught and I recorded. So, you know, he had back-to-back block possessions down the stretch. These were clutch blocks just in crunch time in that game against Slovenia. You know, those are the things that he's going to immediately impact the game. He contests Luka on another moment in the game, late in that game, where Luka's just getting to like those pump fakes. He's playing with kind of like his back to the basket. And to Luka's credit, man, He made a couple of those over Alex Sarr, but in that one moment, Alex Sarr got the stop and Luka missed it. And honestly, like, you just live with the makes, man. I mean, Luka's just that dude. You know, then there's the offensive side of the game. And like, if you knew Alex Sarr pre-draft, right? If you knew enough about him, you knew that this was going to be the side of the ball that we're going to have to wait a couple of years before we see anything that makes us think, okay, this guy's going to be a stud, you know? And look, man, that may never be the case where he becomes like this all-star offensive player, but he certainly has the potential to put stuff together to kind of get to that level, because we know he has it on the defensive end. And look, he's got this, like, he has the coordination, he has the confidence, he has the athleticism, he has the speed, he has good balance, you know? So like, this is a guy that could really become something special, and I'm not surprised as to why the Wizards took him second overall. So, you know, on offense though, like, he's doing that thankless job of just screen setting off the ball, on the ball. And like I said, a lot of the times he's just ghosting those screens to try to get an advantage because opposing teams are often just trying to switch those. So if he can just ghost it and just get ahead of that miscommunication while they're trying to switch, he'll catch it in like the short roll or like at that free throw line area, and he'll make the extra pass if it's available, right? So that's something that Alex Sarr is definitely capable of. And look, man, I still don't see the comfort against physical defenders, and he just gets moved around a lot, like I mentioned earlier. You know, it's just one of those things that I'm definitely still going to be watching closely, because he does have the tendency to be soft, you know? And you know, if you're 7 feet and you're this athlete that can just put the ball down, you have a good first step, and you could just get around guys, like, man, like, there's just not a lot of guys that are going to be able to stay with him, you know? So, you know, and his buckets, like, they've pretty much come as expected. If you're familiar with his game, a lot of them aren't self-created. Like, a lot of these are created by his teammates, right? It's just like a flat-out screen and roll where they find him and he's getting like a dunk where he's rolling, or it's a putback dunk or a putback layup where he's grabbing a rebound and, you know, correcting a teammate's missed shot. You know, maybe it's a lob he's catching. Maybe he's hanging out in the dunker spot, right? And they kind of forget about him somehow, and then he just kind of like sneaks in a dunk. So it's kind of things like that, right? It's not self-creation, and some catch and shoot threes, which he's hit a couple of so far. That's where this guy can take the jump, is can he create offense for himself? And look, if he's never able to be a creator for himself, I do want to see him more polished through the physicality. Like, can you embrace the contact? Can you finish through contact? Can you draw free throws? And it's like I mentioned earlier, like, this guy, he's not shy to take the shots. Like, you just see them, right? He's open, he shoots it. He's open, he shoots it, right? And he lives with the make or miss. So I really like that. There's a nice moment where he does like a nice little flip screen where he catches it in the short roll and he finds Ricochet right there, like, just cutting back door. It was a nice dunk, displaying the short roll playmaking, right, to go with his ability to see the floor naturally, because he's just this tall human being. Really good touch on his pass and just great timing. He's just such an unselfish player, you know? So that's why if a pass is available, he's always gonna make it. So, you know, that's something that, you know, I do knock him for, because there's times where I just need to see him be aggressive, because he does quit sometimes on the play, where I want him to just muscle through it and try to take advantage of help defense on its heels, right? But like, he sees a help defender and he immediately tries to pass it away, you know? So those are the things that I'm frustrated when I watch him, you know? Like, there's a moment where you see the speed with the ball in his hands. He's putting the ball down. You're just like, my God, this guy moves so unbelievably fast with the ball in his hands. And he could just get to that Giannis, like, Euro step, just like a 1-2, get to the rim, and maybe at least you draw a foul, right, from a help defender just kind of yanking you. But it's just like he stops in his tracks. He's unwilling to challenge those help defenders. And part of that goes with the unselfishness, right? Like, he sees the help defender, so he just kicks it out, right? And it's like, I just want to see him be more aggressive. And I feel like I'm just like rambling at this point saying the same thing, but it's just something that I really noticed. Like, there's not a lot of guys that are going to be able to tag from a corner man and be able to meet him at the rim, because he has the speed, the length, and the athleticism to just finish at the rim. And at the very least, if he gets fouled going up, okay, he's got free throws, you know? And you know what? I'll just jump into the free throw thing. He has played in these 2 games, and let me look at the notes I have here, because yeah, he's played a total of 39 minutes. He's got 2 free throws. He's 2 for 2. Okay, so the free throws he's had, he's made them. But 2 for 2 in 2 games in the group stage in 39 total minutes played. That's one of the big knocks on Alex Sarr, you know, along with the rebounding thing. That's the thing that was following him the whole time, pre-draft and even during the season. You know, if you're going to be 7 feet and you're not going to rebound well, you're not going to draw fouls and get to the free throw line, you better be a problem on the perimeter. Like, you better be a guy on the perimeter, right? And he isn't at the moment. And those are the things that concern people. But he just turned 20. You know, he has shown a ton of flashes of great potential. And, you know, man, like, if you're watching him closely and you see the things he's been able to do with just a year of NBA hoops under his belt, you probably should be excited about what he could potentially put together for the Washington Wizards. Thanks for watching this video. I'll catch you guys on the next one.